You've talked in the New Individualist Review about the government regulating sin. One of the things that you're against. What is your feeling about that? Do you feel that that's another invasion of privacy?
Quite
Thou shalt
definitely
not
so.
smoke marijuana, and
well, that's a very touchy political area, the marijuana thing, but it does fall under this category. Part of the American heritage seems to be a sort of a Puritan approach to life. People have psychological complexes. They ought to be upright. They ought to be decent, that sort of thing. And it invaded the legislative halls, as you might expect. Almost every state has laws against homosexuality. Almost every state has laws against fornication. Almost every state has laws against use of, well, it's the federal government that deals with stuff like heroin, drugs, and so forth like that. The government is very concerned with people's moral makeup. This is, of course, something government has always been concerned with, unfortunately, since the pharaohs of Egypt. The government tries to step in, tries to regulate people. There was some sort of movement away from this during the 19th century, but not that strong, and certainly not in the United States. The United States has always been very vigorous in regulating the sins of its populace. In the 1920s, the sin of booze was forbidden. In the 1960s, the sin of marijuana is forbidden. Throughout this whole period, the sin of fornication has been forbidden. And I don't think the government should concern itself with that sort of thing. Let the person regulate his own life. What public harm is caused by, fornication or something like that? It's an act between two adults, presumably in private. If it were out in the public streets, there might be some reason for government action. But these laws in the states regulate private acts between adult individuals in their own homes. And I see no reason for such an invasion of privacy. What will life be like in 1990 if we have a very free and easy culture? People smoke marijuana at night to relax because, it has now supplanted the 5 o'clock martini, that sort of thing. And the government is, just all over the place with bugging devices, spy cameras, that sort of thing. And it could sort of, since everybody does this, everybody relaxes in these ways, and there's still laws in the books, the government can be very arbitrary in whom it arrests, and whom it lets go free. And these laws just absolutely have to be repealed if there's going to be any freedom from arbitrary government action. You see, one of the problems with having such an incredibly minute network of laws is the fact that the government has discretion about whom it enforces these against and whom it lets go free. I understand that the children of poor ghetto people are very often picked up and harassed for being out after curfew or for being caught drinking and so forth. And the children of the upper classes are just sort of reprimanded, released to their parents, that sort of thing. This is privilege in society. And it exists because the government has this discretionary power for the enforcement of these laws. I think that all laws which try to regulate the individual in that way, that sort of personal way, ought to be repealed. And that those laws which the public still believes ought to be in the books, like prohibition of murder, those things ought to be enforced very vigorously, you see. It's just that there are some things which I don't think are in the public sphere, and other things I think may well be.